Procrastination is the art of making something more than it is until it expands into more than it needs to be. Hi there, my ambitious procrastinators. When I read that, I was like, boom, mic drop. And I thought, let's make this the topic of today's show. My invitation to you as you step in and listen for the next few moments together, what is something you are making larger than it needs to be? And with that, maybe a follow-up question could be, whose opinion are you making larger than it needs to be? What false story are you telling yourself that is larger than it needs to be? So today I'm going to invite you to look at 5 situations that we often come up against, more times often than not in our head. And I'm going to invite you to bet on yourself this week. We place our bets on so many other things, but today and this week, I want you to bet on yourself and believe in yourself. So I'm going to offer up 5 things in the frame of I bet, and then offer a reframe in the lens of I believe. And these situations are things I hear so often in my coaching practice. And it might not come up in the phrase of like, I bet that, but these are thoughts that I hear more often than not. So I just want you to know that you are not alone on this journey. And it is my hope that at the end of this time together, you're going to have a couple of reframes that you could use anytime you start to bet against yourself and then start to add and stack the odds in your favor. So, number one, I often hear, and in different ways, is I bet they will judge me, or I think I'm going to be judged. But more often than not, it's I bet they're going to judge me. I know they're going to judge me. I'm going to be judged. And that can paralyze us. So, the next time you feel like, "Oh, I'm not going to do this thing because I bet I'm going to be judged about this thing, I'm going to ask you to offer yourself this reframe. Today, I believe that my work is worth sharing, and I'm not concerned about the opinions of others, especially strangers on the internet. I am concerned in helping and sharing my work with those that I believe need it. So we stop looking for likes, we stop looking to get, and we start to reframe, what can I share to help others that might need the experience that I've gone through, the tools and the methodologies and the things that have helped me. And when I can share that with the world, I can bet on myself and bet that my message is worth sharing. One of my favorite thought leaders in the entire planet is Seth Godin. And if you're not following him or you haven't subscribed to his daily blog, I highly encourage you to do so. He is the one email I open up every day. I've heard Seth say, and again, I'm paraphrasing, to be remarkable, which you all are, whether you're listening or watching, you are remarkable, will mean that you're going to be remarked upon, the good and the not so good. And this idea of being judged can stop us in our tracks. And again, like I mentioned before, when we think of, oh, I'm going to be judged by them, my second offering to you is, who are they? Who are they that are going to judge you? Many times, the thing that really stops us are people's opinions of people we don't even know and people who we could never help, because those are the people. Would you want to be surrounding yourself with people who judge strangers on the internet? I know I don't want to spend my time and my work helping people that are out there to hate on others. But we can allow those people we don't even know. We've never seen them. We've never met them. They're those keyboard warriors that hide behind the internet. So many people that I coach do not move their work out into the world, do not move the needle on the thing that they are dying and desperate to share because of judgment. To move on this theme, another great quote by Quincy Jones was, do not let the critics go to your heart and do not let the praise go to your head, because when you put your work out in the world, you will also be judged on the good. But until you get your work out there, we're not going to know. We're not going to be able to iterate and rearrange things to make it more accessible, more in alignment with the needs of those people that we are hoping to help. So the next time you hear yourself saying, I bet I'm going to be judged, Can you come back to, I believe that my work matters. I care less about the strangers on the internet and more about the clients and customers that I can help and ease their pain because I know what that pain feels like and I have the tools and the strategies to help them get to the other side. We don't want to sit with people in their pain, right? But we need to be able to have that empathy of, I understand your pain. My story is different, but my pain is similar. And these are the tools and strategies and methodologies that I have, I've learned, I've recreated, and I put into my own words that I believe can help you. So next time you hear that, I bet I'm going to be judged, bet on yourself, believe in yourself, and remember to listen to your own voice and your own heart much more than you ever would listen to strangers on the internet. The second bet I hear, again, not always in this language, is I bet I'm going to fail. So the flip side of that is why bother? I bet I'm going to fail. And I offer you today the reframe. I believe I am willing to show up for myself and learn all the tips and tools and strategies and things that I need to learn to help move my message, my thought, my idea, my coaching, my book, my blog, my podcast, my whatever into the world. An acronym that I share often is FAIL, FAIL, first attempts in learning. And this will not be the last time, if you listen to this show, that you will hear that. I don't believe there is any such thing as failure except for not trying. If we say, I'm afraid it's going to fail, it's just hiding. It's just an excuse for us to not move forward. If we never fail, let's say we're going to look at the word failure, meaning it didn't work out in the way that we had hoped. I'm going to go into that in another show. It could be unpacked in another 30 minutes, but it's not whether it was a hit or a miss or good or bad or a win or a loss, but what have I learned along the way in getting this first, second, third, fourth, fifth iteration of my work out into the world? If we've never failed, we've never stretched ourselves because we don't learn in the perfect. So what does failure even mean to you? What are you measuring yourself against? Who are you measuring yourself against? It's never a win or a loss, a this or a that, a good or a bad. But to me, it's who we are and who we become on the process of sharing ourselves with this world. I believe we're on this planet to make it a better place, to contribute in whatever small way we can to elevate the conversation, elevate the energy, elevate the direction and the hopes and the dreams of those that we are here for, of those we hope to inspire. We are here for a reason, and it is not about us, but we can stop making it about the likes and about who we are helping along the way. Less likes and more lessons along the way. That's when we get to put our ideas out in the world. That's when we can reframe this idea of failure. And that is when we need to separate who we are from what we do, so that when we do have a failure, I'm doing air quotes here, when we do have a failure or a miss, it is never that we are a failure. We have to be able to separate who we are from what we do, because there are going to be times when we need constructive feedback, constructive opinions of the people that matter. Another episode to come. But when you have your inner choir, the people that really care about you and who are the right people to help you move your idea forward, we still have to be able to separate who we are from what we do so we can take the criticism and apply that to our work versus apply it to our heart. The third thing I hear, again, not necessarily in these words, is I bet it's too hard for me. Or another reframe on that is, I'm too old to start learning, I'm not smart enough, the enoughness, I should be smarter, I should be younger, whatever, and the list goes on. So the next time you find yourself saying, I bet it's too hard for me, or whatever the language is that you use, I bet I'm too old to start learning, I want you to reframe that and say to yourself, I believe I have the resources to learn, and I am not afraid to ask for help. Great ideas die in isolation and they thrive in collaboration. The journey of experience of entrepreneurship, of solopreneurship, of a creator, of a creative, can be lonely, but this is not a solo sport. To be able to move through procrastination requires a resilient mindset, meaning you're able to bounce back from whatever perceived setbacks that you have, real or in your mind. Resilience is not built up in a vacuum. Resilience is not something you have to do alone. And the hard thing is, resilience is not something we can prepare for. The way we become more resilient is by going through the process, the problems, the challenges. But think of the last time you've said to yourself, I bet it's too hard for me. I want you to believe in all the resources you have around you. I am, I have, I can. That is the pyramid. I am, I have, I can. The I am part of it is all the strengths that you have inside of you, all the lessons and the things that you have done to get to this moment in time that many times we kind of separate from the next thing that we want to do. But all those strengths, whether you learned it in relationship, in your last job, in your travels, those strengths can be transferred into whatever it is that you're still waiting to do. That's the I am, the strengths that you have and can never be taken away from you, but they can be amplified. I am, I have. I have friends, I have mentors, I have people that I can ask for help. Many times we're really comfortable in giving help, but we're not comfortable in asking for help. You're not in this alone. And the way we actually strengthen our relationships is by asking for help. If you're the one only ever giving help, that's not a relationship. So it's actually a gift to the other person when you say, hey, Susie, Mark, whoever, can you help me? I don't know how to do this. And so when we show up and are able to ask for help, that is the second part of the resilience. I have my strengths. Two, I have these people, these resources, even if it's the internet, ChatGPT, hello, you have the resources around you now to learn anything, but you need to have a willingness to learn. And then the last piece is I can. It feels hard to me in the moment, and I know I have a willingness to learn the steps to get to where I need to be. I haven't done this before, and I know I'm excited and committed to the work that I want to put into the world, and I'm excited and committed to showing up and learning whatever it is I need to learn to help me move from where I am to where I want to be. So the next time you say to yourself, I bet it's too hard for me, I want you to do the reframe. I am capable to pull on the strengths inside of me. I have an incredible community around me and on the internet. And I can learn, I can show up. I have a willingness to say, this is where I am, that is where I want to go, and I'm willing to do the hard work and the hard work to get there. The fourth thing I often hear is, again, not always in this language, is, I bet it won't be worth it. This might be one of the biggest ones I actually hear. I bet it won't be worth it. And then the reframe is, I believe it is going to help someone else. Maybe it's one person. Is that worth it? Two people. Is that worth it? I believe so. Now, if you are wanting to change 10,000 people's lives or 1,000,000 people's lives, and that's where you're starting from, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a challenge because this is not an overnight game. This is a marathon. But if you truly believe that helping one person, helping two people, helping a handful of people help make their lives better, more easy, less stressful because of your message, of your story, then do the work. If we're measuring how many people are following us, how many people are liking us, how many people are responding to our message overnight, we're measuring the wrong thing. Do you believe in your bones that you have something worth sharing? If the answer is no, change what it is. You've got to sit back and reflect. The thing that inspired you and motivated you 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 1 year ago, 1 month ago might be different to what inspires you now. If what you are showing up for daily does not inspire you, I think is showing up for the wrong thing. This is especially for creators. For example, I loved talking about perfectionism 8 years ago, because I had struggled with that for so many years. And I knew what I had gone through. I knew my methodology could help people. At the time, I had no idea how many people. It started with a TED Talk and then a book and then speaking. And I did hear from hundreds of people how that book or my work had helped them. And when I came back from my travels and after my year at corporate and now wanting to get my creative juices flowing again, I actually spoke to a friend of mine, a very, very wise, incredible human who said, well, you already have your IP, your intellectual property. It's the perfection detox. The challenge was it no longer inspired me. The thing that inspires me now to my bones, I know because I'm seeing the pain in so many other people, is this idea of being ambitious and procrastination. And there's just a rub. There is nothing worse than getting up and knowing what you need to do and not doing it. And I believe to my bones that I have the methodology and the strategies and the research all put together that will help people unlock their own mind so they can master their mind, get over this procrastination that comes in so many forms, and get their precious and important ideas out into the world. So the next time you find yourself saying, I bet it won't be worth it, what is worth it to you? And make sure that you are still in alignment with the work that you are putting out into the world. We've all changed. We changed through COVID. We've changed through situations. We changed through circumstance. We changed through our own life experiences. So use the time to check in and go, the work that inspired me even a year ago, is that work that lights me up? And there is nothing wrong in changing what it is that you want to put out in the world. Because we change who I was at 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I hope I'm a very different person. And with that, my lessons change, my learnings change, my interests change, how I want to show up in the world changes. And I invite you to think of that too. Is what I'm doing today in alignment with my heart and how I want to share my soul and my voice and my message with the world? And the fifth thing I often hear, again, not always in this language, is I bet this has already been done before and better than I could do it. I think what often comes along with this is that we think that our idea, we think that our offering, the thing we want to share with the world has to be so unique that it's never been done before. There's a wonderful TED Talk by Kirby Ferguson called Embrace the Remix. And basically, Kirby tells us that nothing is original. Even the greatest songs, the greatest thought leaders are borrowing from other people's ideas, but it's the remix. It's how they put the things together, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of my own idea, that makes it so unique. So I want you to embrace the remix. It doesn't have to be unique, because the thing that makes it unique is you. Yes, of course, we're not out there to plagiarize. We're not out there to use artificial intelligence to create ideas for us. It needs to come from the heart. You have to have a unique perspective. I do believe that, a unique voice, a unique point of view. For example, when I'm talking about procrastination, I'm pulling from this research, that science, this book, this idea, and then I've got my own idea that I hear something and it sparks an idea. And I'm like, oh, if I put that with this and we came up with this, that is another step that we can put in the building block of how to bust through procrastination and move it into action using the 4 C's of clarity, consistency, courage, or confidence. More to come later. So again, that's my own unique take on it. We can shift procrastination into action when we become more clear, when we apply consistency, when we get more courage, and we gain more confidence in ourselves and how we want to position the message. But procrastination has been around for thousands of years. I'm not the first person to think about it. I'm certainly not the first person to talk about it, but I'm hoping that my unique perspective will help people that may have not found a solution before. And I wish the same for you and the work that you want to put out in the world. Now, this might sound like a businessy kind of a solopreneurship podcast, but it also applies to anything in life, your relationships, your kids, your vegetable garden. If you want to travel, we put up these excuses of why we shouldn't be doing it, or why it's been done before, or why we're not going to do it perfectly, or is it really worth it? But what I invite you to do is just bring a willingness to say, I don't know. I don't have it figured out yet, but I'm excited to learn, and I'm excited to step into this world and create a future of my dreams versus leaving this life with regret. It's time to believe in yourself. It's time to bet on yourself and start stacking the odds in your favor. And one thing I know has helped many people start moving the odds closer to where they need to be to place a bet on themselves and their dreams is confidence. And I have a 7-day free confidence quick start that you could use to start building momentum quickly and then take that momentum and put it into motion and start putting action behind your dreams. And if that is something that interests you, just go to petrakolber.com/quick start to sign up today. And I will have the link in the show notes. It is time to believe in yourself. It is time to stack the odds in your favor, bet on yourself, believe in yourself, and show up for yourself so you can inspire others to do the same. Embrace the remix, embrace your heart, embrace your goals. Thank you for the gift of your time, and see you next week.